The Percy Jackson and the Olympian series on Disney Plus has given us so many updates these past years. From the announcement of the green light signal of Disney Plus to start a TV series, to the casting updates of different characters, to the multiple trailers and teasers we got this year, and even the release date of the premiere, it's undeniable that so much is happening when it comes to the series. So for this video, I'll give a run through of all the information we have so far to summarize what's been happening with the show. So without further ado, let's get started. One of the first news we ever got of the PJO show on Disney Plus was the casting announcements. So I'll go through a quick run through of all the actors and actresses appearing on the show. However, if you want a more in-depth one, you can check out a separate video on that, which is linked down below. First, we have Walker Scobell, the actor who plays the main character, Percy Jackson. A bit of information on Walker is that he's a super fan of the Riordan books, and he's been seen in a few films like The Addams Project and Secret Headquarters. Next, we have Leah Sava Jeffries, the actress who will play Percy's girlfriend, Annabeth. Like Walker, Leah has been acting in a few movies, and she's best known for a role in a movie called Beast. We also have Aryan Simhadri, the actor who will play Percy's best friend, Grover Underwood. Aryan has a lot of experience when it comes to acting, and he's been involved in projects like Trevor the Musical, Cheaper by the Dozen, and Spin. Together, Walker, Leah, and Aryan complete the golden trio of the Percy Jackson series. And then we have Lance Reddick, the actor who portrayed Zeus in the series. Throughout the years of his career, Lance has been portraying different characters and was regarded as a talented actor. He was known best for his roles in The Wire and the John Wick movie series. Lance's role in the PJO series, however, is his last appearance on the big screen, following his death last March 2023. Actress Virginia Cole comes next, and she plays Percy's mom, Sally Jackson. Virginia pursued acting in 2004, and from there, she appeared in shows like Big Little Lies, along with some Broadway productions. Portraying Chiron the Centaur is Glynn Turman, an American actor, writer, and producer. Glynn started acting at the young age of 12, and he has been in many movies and TV shows ever since. Megan Mullally comes next, and she plays the Fury Alecto, who works for the god of the underworld Hades. Megan is more known to be a comedy actress, especially for her roles in Will and Grace, Bob's Burgers, and Happy Endings. Coming in next is Tim Sharp, who plays Percy's stepdad, Gabe Agliano. Tim is a comedy actor and writer who appeared in shows like Till Death and Undeclared. Starring as the god of war Ares is Adam Copeland, a Canadian actor and wrestler. Adam has starred in a lot of TV shows and movies, starting around the late 1990s. And side note, I love how Adam is Canadian, because we all know that Frank Zhang, Ares or Mars' son, is also Canadian. So I don't know if casting Adam was accidental or intended, but anyway, the next actor is Charlie Bushnell, who portrays the demigod son of Hermes named Luke Castellan. Charlie has loved acting since he was a kid, and he's most known for his role in a show called Diary of a Future President on Disney Plus. One of the other side characters in this series is Clarisse LaRue, who is portrayed by actress Dior Goodjohn. Dior is an American actress who starred in roles in movies like Are You Afraid of the Dark and Head of the Class. We have Olivia Morton next, and she plays Nancy Bobofit, a character who bullies Percy Jackson. Olivia is 13, and she started acting in commercials and movies before getting casted in the PJO show. After Olivia, we have Manuel-Miranda, the actor who will play Hermes. In chronological order of the PJO series, Hermes appears in the second book and not the book the show is going to adopt. But Rick admitted that Hermes was going to appear in the TV show as a cameo and a bit of foreshadowing for the next seasons. So going back, Lin-Manuel is known to be an American songwriter, actor, filmmaker, and playwright who participated in making movies, plays, and shows like the Disney films Moana and Encanto, Mary Poppins Returns, and Hamilton the Musical. Next, we have Jay Duplass, an American actor and filmmaker who will play Hades, the god of the underworld. In making films, Jay collaborates with his brother Mark Duplass, and together they have made movies like The Puffy Chair and Cyrus. Playing the mother of monsters Echidna is Susan Cryer, an American actress. Susan is known for starring in sitcom shows like Two Guys and a Girl, Silicon Valley, and Seinfeld. Aside from this, Susan also performs in Broadway shows. Jessica Parker Kennedy comes next, who plays Medusa in the PJO show. Jessica started acting around 2006, and ever since then, she starred in movies and shows like Black Sails and The Secret Circle. Playing the god of wine Dionysus is Jason Mantzoukas. Jason is an actor, comedian, writer, and podcaster who starred in many TV series throughout his career, some of which are Brooklyn Nine-Nine, John Wick Chapter 3, and Star Trek Prodigy. The next actor is Timothy Omundson, who plays the god of craftsmanship Hephaestus. Timothy has been acting since the 1990s, and he has appeared in movies, TV shows, and even video games throughout his career. Examples of these are Supernatural and Judging Amy. Last but not the least is Toby Stephens, a British actor who will play Poseidon, Percy's dad. Toby started his acting career around 1992, and some of his works include the movie adaptation of Jane Eyre and the James Bond movie called Die Another Day. And that's all the actors. And now, let's go to one of the most recent PJO news we have right now, which is the list of episode titles for the first season. So here's the list, and seeing it right now makes me so happy, because one of the main things I wanted when it comes to this show was that the chapter titles would appear as the episode titles. I was really hoping for one episode per chapter, but obviously, there are just 8 episodes, so there's no way that that's happening. Like, the Lightning Thief book was about 22 chapters, so it's impossible they could include all the chapter titles. Then again though, I'm still pretty happy about the episode lists, and now, let's try to break them down to figure out what may happen per episode. Let's start with the first one. I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher. If you've read the book, then you'd know that this is the first chapter in The Lightning Thief. In this chapter, we meet Percy going on a field trip to the museum, and this is what we saw in this part of the trailers. This chapter also contains the fight scene Percy had with Mrs. Dodds, his pre-algebra teacher, and the cliffhanger that Mrs. Dodds was not human, but something supernatural. Percy manages to kill Mrs. Dodds in the fight, and this is why the title is called I Accidentally Vaporized My Pre-Algebra Teacher. The pre-algebra teacher was Mrs. Dodds, and Percy vaporized her with his sword Riptide. This is all that happens in the book chapter, but seeing that the next episode is called I Become Supreme Lord of the Bathroom, we can assume that a lot more than what I just mentioned happens. So let's continue from the cliffhanger I mentioned earlier. After Percy realizes that nobody but him knows about Mrs. Dodds, he starts questioning himself, and he goes home to find his mom, Sally Jackson, telling him that they'll stay over at Montauk for a vacation. Once Percy and Sally arrive in Montauk, Grover comes in and tells them that they're in danger before the Minotaur chase scene happens. This also includes Sally's so-called death, and Percy killing the Minotaur with his bare hands, and he passed out due to exhaustion after the fight. From there, he wakes up to meet Annabeth Chase, and gets oriented about the camp. Percy also learned that Mr. Brunner, his Latin teacher, is actually Chiron the Centaur, and that Grover was a satyr assigned to protect him. So, that's all we can assume about the first episode. Let's go to the next episode called I Become Supreme Lord of the Bathroom. In the chapter version, this is when Percy met Clarisse, and Percy used his water power for the first time. Clarisse was bullying Percy, when suddenly, Percy soaked her in the toilet out of anger. This is why the chapter is called I Become Supreme Lord of the Bathroom, because the fight Percy had with Clarisse was in the bathroom, and Percy becomes Supreme Lord because he pretty much humiliated Clarisse in there. This is all what happens in the book, but for the show, they might cover more from the book. Namely, the capture the flag sequence, which we see in these shots of the trailer, and a highlight to point out after this scene is Percy getting claimed as a son of Poseidon. After this event, we get Percy accepting the quest to retrieve Zeus's lightning bolt to prove his innocence, and they start the quest. The second episode might end with Percy accepting the quest, and we'll meet the trio in the next episode. We visit the Garden Gnome Emporium. In the book, the Garden Gnome Emporium is Medusa's trap to lure demigods inside, and Percy, Annabeth, and Grover stumbled upon it to rest for the night. This is the episode where we'll see Jessica Parker Kennedy as Medusa, and the trio fights her in this part. We might also get to see Percy, Annabeth, and Grover encounter a missing poodle, and they return to the owner to get the reward of $200. The trio needed the money for transportation to their next location, and you meet them again in the Gateway Arch. The episode can end here with this note, because the fourth and next one is entitled I Plunge to My Death. In the book, I Plunge to My Death happens in the Gateway Arch, when Percy is left alone with Echidna, who attacks him with a chimera disguised as a chihuahua. Percy gets wounded in the fight, and to heal himself, he decides to jump out of the arch and into the nearby Mississippi River. The water healed Percy's wounds, and Percy discovers more of his powers as a son of Poseidon there. The episode could also extend to the narrate telling Percy some advice before Percy meets up with Annabeth and Grover. With that note, it brings us to the 5th episode of A God Buys Us Cheeseburgers. The god in the title is Ares, and this one will meet Adam Copeland, Ares' actor. After Percy meets up with Annabeth and Grover in the previous episode, they decide to eat dinner at a diner, and that's when Ares shows up. Ares gives the trio a quest to retrieve his shield, and the trio goes to this abandoned water park, which is depicted in this part of a trailer. Percy only agrees to do Ares' quest because Ares agrees to tell info about what happens to Percy's mother. Percy and Annabeth go on a love ride that was a trap made by Hephaestus, but they manage to get the shield and escape. This is all that happens around this part of the book. And now, let's go to the 6th episode, which is called We Take a Zebra to Vegas. Percy meets up with Ares and tells him that they have the shield. Ares then tells them info about Percy's mom being alive, and that they could ride a truck filled with animals as a means of transportation to their next venue. Percy, Annabeth, and Grover get in the truck, and on the ride, many things might happen. We could get more info about Annabeth, especially, and we can see this in the form of flashbacks in the show, which I'm just so excited about. This involves Annabeth's past, specifically when she met Luke and Thalia after running away from her family. We could also connect this to Grover's past, because he was the Slater responsible for bringing Annabeth, Luke, and Thalia to Camp Half-Blood. Percy also gets a weird nightmare before the truck suddenly stops to check on the animals. The trio lets the animals go free, and Percy manages to talk to a zebra there, since Poseidon apparently made horses and zebras. In the chapter and episode title, it explicitly states that the trio goes to Las Vegas, and once there, they arrive in the Lotus Casino and get stuck there for a few days. Aside from this, we could also meet Manuel-Miranda, or Hermes, as in the trailer part over here, it looks like he's in the Lotus Casino with the trio. So, let's just see what Rick does about that, because that was not part of the book. So we can't assume that the episode ends there to introduce the next episode, which is called We Find Out the Truth, sort of. In the book version, Percy, Annabeth, and Grover go to the underworld to find Hades, who they think stole Zeus's lightning bolt. After talking with Hades, they soon realize that Hades didn't steal the lightning bolt, but a demigod did. They also learn that Ares had set them up by placing the lightning bolt in Percy's backpack, and the Golden Trio escaped to confront Ares. Percy then has this epic fight with Ares, which one of the teasers actually hinted on, and I'm so excited to finally see that on the big screen. The last episode is called The Prophecy Comes True, which is the last chapter in the book. Here, we'll probably see my most favorite part of the book, Luke's betrayal. After the trio returns the lightning bolt to Zeus and Mount Olympus, Percy meets with Luke in camp. Luke then slowly reveals that he is the lightning thief, and he attempts to poison Percy with a scorpion. This scene should happen like the book, because Rick wrote that build-up of Luke's betrayal so well, and I just hope it translates accurately to the big screen. And that's all the news we have so far. I don't know about you guys, but I'm so excited for the 2-episode premiere this December 20, and I can't wait to finally watch an adaptation that I've been waiting for. So how about you? What do you think of all these updates? Let me know in the comments down below.